He said, "Oh, we do gotta record." Okay, so no questions, no reactions.
Don't look at that. Just keep going.
No, I know.
Yeah.
But with that relationship and everything is of finding someone that you can grow with and things like that. And we were also discussing the fact of
what? No, we was discussing love. We discussed
love.
And then we was attributing that to, again, going back to the reason of why would you not have kids, and you're basically saying that you were, I guess, on a, I don't want to call it like that because don't feel attacked.
No, be blunt.
But you saying that it's more so a selfish thing that you don't want to change things of how things are, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. You want things how they are now.
Oh no, we were talking about what love is. Point
yeah. So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay, I was like getting back to it. So. But again, like with to me, like a relationship with someone is like, they become an add-on to your life, avoiding what you have as your value and everything. So that person isn't supposed to become your life, take over it, or things like that. You need to find a baseline for you guys to meet on and support each other. And the biggest thing I feel like is of growing with each other. Okay. However, growth is separate from if someone is wanting you to become someone that you're not. Okay. Those are two separate things, because also to me it's like the intentions behind it. Like if someone is having like, rude intentions of being like, oh, get this job so that way I get X in return. That's not them being like, oh, get this job because it will be good for you in the long run and set you up for a career. They're wanting to be with you and stick with you because of this job and because they're pushing you towards it. Like it's the motives behind it. I feel like as human beings, there is a lot of depth. And it's how deep do you want to get to that? How much do you want to...
Okay, because you said death. And I was like, whoa. You turned this shit to a completely different...
Let me pronunciate incorrectly.
Depth.
Okay, just, there's layers to people.
There you go.
Okay, there's layers to people, feelings, and
I swear I'm not the only one. I swear they're going to say, what the fuck?
And I feel like you can meet everyone at a face level, but it is like a thing, too, of, like, being vulnerable. And I've been in those relationships, too, where it's like, who can care less? Okay. Like that thing where it's like, I feel
so hold on. I want to be clear. You say you've been into relationships where both of you are like carrying the least amount
of how I felt towards it. Okay. Like it wasn't on like their side, but I was like, this is basically of what I'm seeing of where we're at. It's like who can care less with it. So that's why for me, like communicating is such a big thing too, and it's crucial with it, because if you're not transparent, if you aren't honest, like. Things get built up and they're gonna explode. Yeah. But the root of it, of the discussion, what we're talking about is love is, when that person's priorities become your own, you really see that person as a big influence in your life. Like, it doesn't mean that you should prioritize.
Prioritize.
Okay, yes. them over, like, yourself, but it's going to get to that point where, you're on an even playing field. You want to see each other succeed. You should be able to match that and everything. It shouldn't be like, oh, I give, I take. Like, there's that thing, too, where it's like, oh, relationships need to be 50-50. And I've heard it as well, where no, it's supposed to be if someone's giving 80, you give, like, of making it up and things like that. And the thing is, like, just compatibility is a big thing. So there's so much of going on and on with, like, relationships and things like that. But I'm such a big believer in just, like, to each their own with it. Like, your life is your life. You have your own experiences. You have your trials and tribulations. You decide what it is that affects you, impacts you, and influences you. So how you take that and where you go from there is within your control, whether you realize it or not.
Yeah, that I agree with. That part I agree
bars.
with. Now you spend bars. Before you were not spending bars.
Oh my gosh, no, I just had to keep port, and then I'm like, oh, I know my shit. Now you had to get some
port, and you had to take a hit of fucking whatever the fuck you took a hit of. Took a hit of that and some port, and now your ass is on,
yes,
baby.
I'm like, I know what I'm talking about.
The fuck? Oh I would agree. Yeah. So, but I would even take it a step further to say that love is like a sacrifice. Love is a sacrifice, because if you truly love someone, you are willing to literally let them go because that's what's best for them, not what's best for you. God damn.
Yikes.
God damn.
I think it can be taken both ways. Of that, love is something where you can let them go, but at the same time, love is something that you can't let go.
No.
What I mean by that is that if you think about it, you can let them go, but do you still love them?
Yeah.
Exactly. So you can't let go of that love you have for them, but you're still letting them go.
Okay.
Do you catch my drift?
Yeah. You covered it up.
Yeah, no.
Made it pretty at the end.
Let me follow. Let me finish. Let me finish.
But yeah, so the bottom line is when it comes to that Taylor Port hit. I told you all it takes is 2 cups. That was 1 cup. That was not even a cup. That was half a cup. That was half a cup.
But I'm feeling good. See, I said my brain cells need to be sparked. If it's not by Red Bull, it's by alcohol. It's one or the other. Need to be
stimulated.
Yeah, stimulate the senses like 5 gum. Yo, have you seen that stuff where Red Bull, like, I've been getting into, like, F1 and motocross and everything lately, and they have that stuff where, like, Red Bull, like, you know, the drink brand where, like, they dabble in making drinks, but their priority is all the other dumb shit they be doing all the time.
Yeah. Facts.
No, that's the page I'm on.
Yeah, love is definitely a sacrifice.
Yes,
100%. 100% to put a button on all of it. But yeah, I get it, but that still doesn't answer the question, which was the original question. It was about the kids.
Oh, the kids.
That still didn't answer the original question.
I think that it would be something where if it was such a big deal of it, if adoption wasn't it, if they, like, you know, wanted it from their sperm and stuff, I'm not gonna be like, oh, we have to get a fucking donor. I'm not gonna go to that, like, length of it. It would be something that I would need to think of and just, you know, need to evaluate. And because to me, the ideal thing in the long run would be, like, I find someone, like, whether we even, to me, like, marriage and stuff isn't even a big deal. I know that for a lot of people it is, like, you know, and everyone has their own stance and beliefs on it. However, like, to me, if I find someone where I have a bond and it is how it is, like, there's an understanding, like, I don't need a ring, paperwork, or a whole big, like, announcement of it. Like, to me, my issue, too, is that, like, a marriage these days is now just, like, you know, all posted on social media, like, publicity and stuff like that. And I'm just like, okay, great. Like,
people want to be married, but they don't want to be a wife.
Yeah, and plus also it's like they don't want the responsibilities of it. So that's why I'm like, that's why my image and view of, like, marriage and kids has been tainted. And also growing up, I knew this family friend of ours and everything where they weren't married, but they lived together, they had an understanding, they had promise rings and everything like that, but they didn't go through that final stuff. Like, I mean, hey, they're doing great and everything. They're still together. And, you know, seeing that, I'm like, okay, so me, like, signing fucking paperwork isn't, like, if anything, for taxes.
Okay.
Like, if anything for freaking taxes. Like, I'm saying of going through the whole, like, charade of, like, the white dress and all that stuff, I've never been like, oh my gosh, I need to go talk about, bruh, like, they're fucking,
so, like, you don't even,
so, I'm not gonna pay
so
marriage is not even flowers.
So marriage is not even, like, a priority for you.
No, it's not. For me, I would prioritize the connection with someone over, like, the connection and the relationship with that individual. And that's something I've learned.
So then what's the ultimate level of the connection with that individual for you personally?
The biggest thing is of always being able to work through anything.
So
and
time.
of having consistent communication.
So time.
Yeah.
Time with that person is the ultimate showing of that.
Yeah, and I mean also too of like, not even time, but how that person is. It would also be their influence on my life, which does relate to time, which is true of what you're saying. However, like, you can spend so much time with someone, and, you know, it's making you into a shit person. It's not adding any value to your life. So it's finding someone where, yes, they're willing to invest the time, but also the time that is invested is benefiting not only me, but that person as well.
So then let's separate it. Which one you prefer? Someone who comes into your life short as fuck, but your results of you being a better person is really good, or someone comes to your life that was a long period of time and they stayed through the thick and thin, but you didn't progress as much as you would have if you were the other person. Okay, so it's not time, so it's just progression for you.
Yeah, and it's the connection that's made.
No, okay, let's.
No, I'm saying because I gotta see
what's the hold on.
Because of the time.
No, I got you. Okay, so then how do you quantify the connection then?
After the time, because if that time that had been invested, no matter how short or long it was, if that was enough of how we influenced each other, of how we grew with each other, then after that, you should still have a connection with them and still be in contact. I'm not saying that they're still giving more of that time, but even if that time is taken away, they still in a way have, like, some influence over that where it's long-lasting, impactful. Because when you say, like, you know, of, like, having that change, okay, you can change and be a different person for a day, for a week, for 2 fucking hours. But is that change something that impacted you enough where in the long run it's something you look back on and can reflect on with decisions you make or things that you think about on a daily basis? That's really when you can deem if that time that was spent with that person does become an influence in your daily. Okay, so for you personally, it's the progression of you as an individual versus
See, this goes back to the selfishness.
I feel like I'm yapping so much.
No. You're this is what happens when you yap so much. You start to actually understand yourself.
I start
on a deeper
to make
level.
sense.
No.
Okay.
Not necessarily.
Then...
you start to be able to see your own thought process, and sometimes that can make sense, and sometimes that can contradict.
I feel like my thought process.
Well, hold on. I don't know. I wasn't finished. So
connect the dots.
Going back to what you just said is, I'm trying to see for you personally. Mm-hmm. Is it from a selfish thing again? Here's the selfish word keep coming up. Because you're saying that you value your own progression versus them sticking it out with you long term. You said that literally 3 minutes ago.
However, it wouldn't just be them sticking out. It would be me sticking out too. And I know you're gonna be like, there's like selfishness coming in from it.
No. I wouldn't.
Okay.
But ultimately, it's okay. If you're looking at it from their perspective, or seeing how much someone loves you, right? Yeah. You're saying to yourself, blank. I'm trying to see what that blank is. That's why I'm asking you these very specific questions. So when you say that blank is, hey, this person is making me progress further in life, even though it's a shorter time, is worth more than the person that is thugging it out with me, but we didn't have it necessarily progressed in a long time. You said that it's the shorter one. Yeah. So that in and of itself would have to be from a selfish perspective, because you're saying, what did I gain from that? Versus what did they do to show their love to me?
Yes, but I can also say I am going off of experiences I've had personally for myself and everything. So I do have things to compare it to with it. And with that is like a big influence in my answers with it.
I'm a therapist, because I'm cooking right now.
Oh my gosh. I'm not crying though. I'm refusing that. I just said I would not cry. I ain't crying on this. But
I want you to know, this is what I want you to do. Because I want you to realize what's happening right now. What I'm saying is, you're judging someone else's perspective on how much they love you by how much you gain from them.
No, I get that. I do.
Okay.
I know what you're saying, why and stuff with it, and the reason it's kind of murky for me with it is, again, like I said, those experiences I've had with it, and that's not like a bullshit thing. It's because I am like thinking of certain scenarios in my head when I'm answering these questions. Yeah. But with that, it's of knowing too where I'm at now, of my relationship with those people, which I do not have to divulge. But I do take into account that other person as well with it. Like, and I know too, you're sitting there like, this bitch selfish as fuck. Like, no, she's
because just, okay, let me pause. Let me pause for a second. Hold on, let me pause for a second. Because my thought process.
Yeah, sure, your thought process.
Because my thought process is independent from me. You got to understand that almost everything is independent from you. What you are doing is just putting a reflection on a reaction of the things that's coming to you. So, for example, if someone that's white, and I'll go to a basketball court, a random basketball court around here in Atlanta, and I go to a basketball court, and some white dude comes up to me, he's like, hey man, what's up, nigga? And that's me up. My perspective would be like, oh, he called me nigga. Oh, blah, 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 blah. But from his perspective, it's not a disrespectful thing. Yeah. He's not trying to disrespect you. Oh, it's cool. He just grew, not even just as cool, he grew up like that. That's how he grew up. That's how he talked. That's how he communicate. And it's not from a disrespectful thing. People don't seem to realize that disrespect is about intent. Yeah. It is about intent. And I don't care if no one, you can argue with me on comments, you can argue with me on YouTube. Disrespect is about intent. If I didn't intend to disrespect you, from my perspective, it's not disrespectful. Now, if I communicated, hey, bro, to me, it's disrespectful for you to call me the N-word for whatever reason, and then he calls me the N-word, now he's intently disrespecting me because now he understands that. But that goes back to what I said about you, which is your perspective is what can you get from the person versus what the person is trying to give and doing for you.
And because I am going based off like the past situations, and I'm not like defending myself with it. My biggest thing too is I'm stating facts with it. I'm not like making bullshit up with it. Yeah. So with the situations that I have based in my mind is the time relationship, it didn't contribute to either of us actually. It was damaging. So the shorter time one though, like it damaged the fuck out of me. Genuinely. Like afterwards, like the immediate reaction, I was a fucking mess, but then later on it smoothed out and everything. I was able to grow, and both of us have grown and everything, and it's at a better point and everything. So that's why with that experience and influence with it, that's why I'm answering these questions that way. If I was to look at it, if I take a step back and I'm like, okay, which one am I gonna care more? The one with the time, because again, like it's like how I felt and my emotional state in both of those relationships. Then yes, it would be that time over that short like thing, because I would look at it and be like, oh, this person invested so much time. I invested so much time. We both want to work through things out.
That's what I would think.
And that's you were like, nah, she like okay. But yes, it would be that time and everything in comparison to like, okay, just because this person did something great for me, like I would look at it too and be like, oh, what did I do for them? Yeah. Is the big thing. So if I was there and I'm like, this short amount of time happened, nothing happened for this person, but shit happened for me, versus like the one where we both worked it out and everything throughout that time, that one would have more impact if you think about it in the long run too.
Let me ask you a very direct question. Okay. Here we go.
The glass is on and everything.
Glass is on and everything.
Okay. Talk your shit.
Who cares about you more? A or B? A, someone gives you $1 million, but they're a billionaire. B, someone gives you $10, but they only had $100 in their bank account.
Nah, it's B.
Okay. So that's literally my point. My point is the short one was just someone gave you some shit and then boom, you gain from that shit, but that doesn't necessarily say that person is giving to you. It's different from immediate
versus like the long run. And I think that's what you're trying to get at. But again, like I can admit to it of like giving you context of like I had these past X, Y, and Z, so that's why like my answer was influenced by that and like can change with it is because I was like, well, this happened and this happened. Okay. I know what transpired. I know the results of it. So I'm going based off it. But if I take a step back, then my thoughts become different. So it's all situational with how it is I'll think and like analyze certain things because, you know, to me not everything is white and black. There's gonna be gray areas.
Yeah, which I would agree. Are you live on YouTube also?
We were live on YouTube.
We were live on YouTube. Snow Bunny.
I feel like that means we need to go live on YouTube.
Facts.
you got that 10% though, so.
Yeah, facts. I'm about to put the charger on there. But yeah, let's get to reaction videos.
We're going to reaction. We have been yapping and discussing.
Shit. Alright.
I'm on train. Should we do a second class and